unfortunate to see a wee bit past my curtain, but that's all right. Right, let's get into a wee bit of basics. So, I'm literally just going to be chilling, try to learn a wee bit of Unreal Engine. Basically need to figure out the basics and variables and stuff like that, because I've been doing tutorials, but even doing tutorials, because they're not teaching you why you're doing something, it's incredibly unhelpful. So let's have a wee swatch.
Pong, Mario, those sort of ideas. He also has his Discord. You can find that in my Discord, where you can sort of vote to see what he makes over the next sort of week or so. So, moving on, we're going to start at the very beginning, as I said, and we're going to be talking about variables today. Now, variables are nodes where you can store single information, whereas arrays are where you can store multiple pieces of information. But we'll talk about arrays in the next episode or two. But today we're going to talk about single variables, like where we store some information, something we want to know, or our system to know down the line. Now, as I said, I'm going to talk about the topmost 11 I think are useful. If you have any others that you think are useful, please put them in the comments. I'd love to know what your thoughts are on this. We have two different sections to a variable. So if we pull off from our right side, where the variables are listed, on the left side, sorry, where the variables are listed, you can do this and it'll come up with a get or a set. Now the get looks like this and the set is like this. Now the get is where you are getting that information, so you'd plug this into something to retrieve this information from the variable, and setting is where we could change that information. The first one we're going to look at is Boolean. Now Boolean's useful because you might want to ask your system, your code, a question. So for example, are we sprinting? Are we crouching? And we can use this to drive that. And usually you would use that with a branch, like so. That's how we would use a Boolean. And again, like it says here, true or false, yes or no, 1 or 0. That's kind of the general idea of a Boolean. So are we sprinting? True, then we would change, maybe affect our stamina. If it's false, then we would not affect our stamina, for example. So that's a Boolean. We also have integers. Now these are whole numbers. This is the system deals with like 1, 2, 3, 4. For example, you might have money value. So let's say you had 100 money, that would be value 100. And then you want to add another 100, you would add 100. For example, you'd say 100. Okay.
It's I don't know, man. I've been watching tutorials and I've been trying to kind of, you know, do stuff. So like one of the things I've been doing is I can go up to this little version of Red, and if I press E on him, he'll say something to me. You probably can't see it, but it's, oh, you can't see it because of the screen, but he'll say something up the top left. And well, yeah, he walks. He can walk and run, and he's anime. To be honest, the building of the character is not that difficult because of Paper ZD. But when it comes to literally anything else, I'm afraid I'm just confused mostly. So I need to learn the basics and the variables and stuff, because that's how everything works.
Our whole numbers. This is the system deals with like 1, 2, 3, 4. For example, you might have money value. So let's say you had 100 money, that would be value 100. And then you want to add another 100, you would add 100, for example. You'd say 100, okay? And you could do this as a plus, for example. So you could say integer. So let's say we had 100 plus 100. That would then come out as 200. So they ultimately deal in whole numbers. Let's move that out of the way. We then have float.
Something I'm also trying to understand, and I think it's going to help me, is putting everything into dreams terms. Integer seems like it's like calculator almost. Yeah. So far, the Boolean is basically a yes or a no sort of thing, and you can set it to, and you can change that. So you flies in my face. So you can make like a, you know, different things do different things. If we look up here, this is Red's this is Red's movement stuff right now that I've done, and I'm just trying to understand it, because I've done it, I've watched someone else do it, and I copied it, and it's there obviously, but now I'm just trying to understand it. So from what I've understood, from what I've done, event tick is something that happens every single frame. And that's kind of where I'm at. Honestly, I'm quite nervous, man. This is so much, and it just feels like it's never letting up. Works by reading what you have done from 1 and 0. Kind of, I think. So basically, the custom event is basically whenever the game starts, that'll play, and that's why it's like setting the flipbook. And then over here, it's like, okay, so this is the character's movement. The target needs velocity. Returns the length of the vector. Target is Kismet Math Library. Fuck me. So if his movement, right? Okay, so this kind of makes sense. If his movement is more than 0, which is what it means. If it's true, which is more than 0, your walk animation will begin. If it's less than 0, his idle animation will stay there. No, that makes sense. I totally get that, and I can get like mainly all this, so that you know, character movement plus velocity. I don't know why this is here. I feel like this is extra vector length. I don't know what that means. In my mind, the way I would do it if I knew how to do it almost is that character movement goes into the target, which then goes into velocity, and the velocity would go into this thing that's greater than XYZ, and then would go into that. So I'm a bit confused as to why the vector length is here. Returns the length of the vector. Doesn't make sense. Target, that's who it's affecting. Velocity, that makes sense. So vector length is a mover. To be honest, maybe that's what I should do. Maybe I should like be trying to write down everything that works as something in Dreams, and I can learn it that way. Because obviously, I mean, this right here, calculator, boom, and you would really just type that in. So if it was plus something, you type that in. Greater, equal, less equal, not equal, and stuff like that, and you just get that from the equals and also the plus thing. So okay, so this line of code I technically understand. Still a bit iffy with here, but I kind of get what it's saying. Over here, this stuff is also relatively simple. It's your input axis, so I'm basically saying when I hit move right, he will start moving in the x-axis right. And I've set up an opposite one that I guess you don't need to have input into the thing, so it automatically knows that if you're pressing the opposite one, you go left. And then the same here, this is forwards and back, and this is you moving on the y-axis, and that's how this is possible. Custom update animation. Right. Jump is pretty simple. You press the button, you jump, you release the button, you stop jumping. Makes sense. Update rotation. So this is him being able to turn back on himself. Yeah, okay, let's continue. So I was learning about. So this is basically yes or no, true or false. That's the Boolean. What's the next one? Integer is just numbers. So this would handle, I guess, money, leveling, that sort of thing.
Now float is like the decimal version. So you could have 4.25. You could have minus 3.6 or
Right.
1.0007. It's just allowing you to create those fractional numbers. And these would be good for things like health bars and thirst, hunger, stamina, where you want a more precise value to be used.
Okay.
That's where we get our flow. And they work in exactly the same way as integer works. As I say, it's just adding in that decimal. We have a name variable. Now you'd use...
Okay. Okay. So good on you and your first live stream. Thank you very much. I mean, technically it's my first ever live stream with this channel, but I've definitely streamed a lot before. Working in Unreal 2, yep. Just trying to... I basically did the tutorial to make my character. I can walk back and forward and stuff like that. Technically I can jump, I just don't have the animation for him jumping, so he turns into a wee tiny fox. Which is kind of funny. But hey, I can walk back and forward, and if, quite honestly, the character customization, or the character creation almost, is actually pretty straightforward. Because of Paper ZD, the way it works. Also, it's pretty cool being able to see the new model versus the old model, and just the sheer upgrade. But yeah, I'm basically just trying to learn the basics, man. It's difficult, but I feel constantly overwhelmed. Stuff looks more fun than mine. I'm cleaning mocap for work. Mocap sounds pretty awesome though. I mean, yeah, the Paper ZD plugin is 1,000 times simpler than everything else. I'm definitely like, not that it's super easy, but it's definitely easier than like your regular coding and stuff like that. Okay. Boolean variables are yes and no, true and false. Simple, understood, easy. An integer is full numbers. Okay. A float is numbers, but you can have a decimal point. So if you need more precise numbers, that's an integer. Now, what's he talking about next? It's shoddy mocap, so character constantly off center and clipping. What does shoddy mocap mean? Oh, shitty. I imagine you're saying shitty. Still though, mocap's pretty cool. What is it for the mocap? Oh, it's for work, so it's not a personal project. What about your cart stuff that you're doing? How's that coming along? So you need to name variables. Yes, you need to name. Aye, because you can name them in here. So I imagine. Oh, it's a PG way of saying it. Right, fair enough. I like how I just skipped that entirely and just said it. So yeah, so I guess it would be like, is he attacking, and then it would go off into a branch, which is where the true and false happens. And so if he is attacking, this would happen, and if he's not attacking, this would happen. So in the instance of him, where is it? So a select. Okay. So let's see. Let's just play about with this. Select. Okay. So true. Why doesn't that? Okay, so the branch doesn't go off into a select. How do we... So this isn't hooked up to anything else. Cut stuff and making models in Blender first. Nice. Not bad. I did a wee couple of tutorials in Blender as well, but it's frustratingly aggressive how better Dreams is for sculpting and just how much more fun it is. Like, ridiculously. Right, so I brought out a select, but why is the select that I've brought out? So you can summon things as is, or you can summon them from things, which I think automatically hook them up. Ah! Select elements from list. Okay. Now, all this stuff that controls red is from a tutorial, and I'm just trying to like break it down right now to understand what it is I've done. I wonder if it's because the return value is hooked up into a set flipbook. Can you pull this? Yeah. So a select. Okay, so a select is basically choosing the animation you want to play. But I'm not quite sure how I managed to get it to allow me to pick these things, other than the fact that maybe it eventually hooks up to a set flipbook. So let's try that down here and see if that's correct. Set flipbook. Okay. Boom. Right, so that instantly spawns a sprite. Okay, and lets us pick something. Okay, so I'm trying to do this. Right, hold on. I've got too many things. Turns out I'm not cleaning Unreal as well as Dreams. I'm using a plugin called Conjure, so it's like dream sculpting in some ways better. Ooh, nice. Okay, so let's go. Let's try it here. Selects. Now. No. Okay. How do you delete return value? No. No. Okay, so maybe I don't need a branch. Maybe the Boolean. Okay, hold on. Maybe the Boolean figures it out itself. Right, select color, select float, select integers, transform, vector. Just select. Return value. There we go. So hooking it up to a flipbook later down the line changes what you have at that time. So you didn't need a branch. The branch was an extra step. I was trying to overcomplicate the Boolean when the Boolean was simple all along. So now it would essentially be, is he attacking? And if he is attacking, it would play that. And if he's not attacking, it would be idle. Because it's hooked up to the flipbook, which is hooked up to him. Okay. The only thing is, get hair in my mouth. The only thing is, how do I tell it that I am attacking? Let's say, for instance, the W key boom pressed is attacking? No. Wait, hold on. Okay, what if we delete the boolean, because we don't need that. What if the pressed is true? No, can't do that. Key? No. Let's look up here and see what I've done before with the jump. Target is on self. Making character jump on the next update. And this is okay. So it knows that we've got to remember as well, we're using a plugin called PaperZD, and that changes how some of the stuff works, I'm sure. So things like jump is automatic. Like it knows to make your character jump. Because everything you do here, where is it? Is it an edit? Project settings, right? Okay, this will help understand some of the stuff that I've been. So if we go to input. Input. Right, okay, so here is where I've set all the things. So these are action mappings that tell you. So axis mappings is just how your character will move around the space, because you can see that here. Awesome. So if I were to add boom, this, which is attack. Now this is for the overworld, not a battle. And let's say I wanted attack to be. Oh. Okay, so it can't be W because W is already chosen. So R, the R key. And that's automatically saved. That's just there from now on. So if we go back into here, I feel like my brain is working overtime trying to understand this. If I type in attack, action events, boom, attack. Okay, so which I guess would be a select. No. No, it wouldn't. Okay, let's have a look up here. Input action, jump. Pressing it has him jump. Releasing has him not jump. Okay. Input action attack has him attack. Is it because we don't have? I think the issue that I'm coming in with is that we don't have an attack animation, so there's nothing to pull from. because again, if we come back out and we look into our character, our red character, that's the wee. I do hate this. I hate how this is all set up. Right. Okay. So this is where Red's. This is where all of Red's animations are, and they're set into a flip book, and the flip book does this. So that's his idle, and because we've set that as his idle, we can then go into his this stuff, which is his blueprints, and then we can look for idle. I think putting it into a Boolean. I don't think it needs to go into a Boolean because I think when it's red, it's already in a Boolean setting. So it's already in the kind of true or false statement. So pressed is obviously true. Released is false. Stop jumping, character rotation. Okay. So we've messed about. So let's go into what the next one is.
Use this for name. We have a name variable. Now you'd use this for naming something, like let's say you had an object in the world and you want to call it an apple, or you want to call it a sword, or maybe you've got zombies, or you have a character like an AI character, you want to give it a name like Darren, Jake. That's what you would use your name variables for. The string, now you'll probably notice this from like things like...
Hold on. Right, I know name obviously is how you name shit. But how does that work in any context? Maybe he swings back to that. Read the value of variable. Set the value. Okay.
Print string. These are like a sentence. For example, a sentence in alphanumerical, which obviously uses like letters and numbers to create your sentence. So like, for example, you might want it to come up on screen saying...
I think you need to get a controller for the attack to be true or false. Let's try it.
So they say.
Controller. Target is pawn. There's no connection. It's valid. Don't know. I think that might be also overcomplicating it. But messing about with it is definitely how we're going to learn. Okay, so he's telling us about string, which is...
hello, name, how are you? You would use a string to get that value. Next we have a vector. Now this is a location, a 3D location within the world. So you've probably seen me use it in the Pokemon clone series, where we get...
Hang on, big man. Didn't exactly explain the strings super well.
Jake. That's what you would use your name variables for. The string, now you'll probably notice this from like things like print string. These are like a sentence. For example, a sentence in alphanumerical, which obviously uses like letters and numbers to create your sentence. So like, for example, you might want it to come up on screen saying, hello, name, how are you? You would use a string to get that value.
Oh, right, okay. Okay, so string is dialogue. The only thing... But how would you go from that to that? Does a branch work? No. What about select? Select string maybe? Okay. Right. Is valid? Don't know, man. I don't know. But let's get through these first and then we can go back and see what's what.
Next we have a vector. Now this is a location, a 3D location within the world. So you've probably seen me use it in the Pokemon clone series, where we get the vector, which is our location of our character at any one given time on the X, Y, and Z value front.
Okay.
And you could use this to get that location or set that location or tell something to go to that location. You would use a vector. Rotate.
Okay. Okay, so vector is just where something is. Makes sense, I guess.
That's very similar to the location, but it's dealing with your 360 rotation. Again, you can manipulate it on an X, Y, and Z value, but this is just telling you the rotation where your player is facing within the world or the object, depending on what you're trying to accomplish. That is what you would use to determine which way it's facing.
Okay.
Next, we have the object reference. Now this.
Okay. So you've got the vector, which is where something is, and then you've got the rotator, what way it's facing. Okay.
This is just a reference to an object in the world or a blueprint. You can use it to access another blueprint information. You could use an object variable to store that within your code. You have a transform node. Now that is the combination of...
Hang on there, big cheese. Where is object? Oops. That's transform. Okay, I'm not seeing the object that he's talking about. Move on.
Of the vector, the rotator, but it also includes scale. For example, if I pull off from here and I say make, we can make a relative transform or we can make a normal transform, which to store that within your vector. The rotator, but it also includes scale. For example, if I pull off from here and I say make, we can make a relative transform, or we can make a normal transform, which again splits out that location, rotation and scale, in which we can plug in, for example, if we had a get of our vector, we could say that's the location we want, and using the rotator, that is the rotation we want, and you can change the scale as well if you would like to. And transforms are very useful for storing all three of those values under one variable. And just two little bonuses. So this brings us up to 11. We have a struct variable and an enum variable. I will go into greater depths with these, but a struct, if you have a structure that stores multiple variables in one area. So if I break this now, I am using one of my Ringmon game variables, but you can store multiple variables within one location under this struct, and then you can just change your variable typing on the left hand side by searching for what you need. So for example, this one for me is my item struct. You can just search for it and set it to be that, and then using that you can break it or make it. You can make it as well to change these values, and it will update and store all under this one variable. Lastly, we have the enum. Now this is normally a list of different items or list of names that you want to utilize. It's a list essentially of things that you would potentially need to call. In this instance, I've used my Ringmon's status. Here I have frozen, poisoned, paralyzed, burned, confused and asleep, and you can call those when you need them. So for me, as an example, I use my enum to set whether my creature is poisoned, paralyzed, burned, and then from there we can check that down the line using our get and do stuff like take away damage. Depending on what one of these steps, you might skip a move.
Okay, so enum seems pretty straightforward, especially you would probably use that in combat, obviously. Yeah. All right.
Things like that. All of these to me are incredibly useful. Hopefully this brief explanation has sort of helped you to understand what each of these are used for. In the next episode we'll go into some of these in greater depth and show some examples of why you would use them. We'll look at arrays in the future. We'll also look at things like BPIs, what classes are, and all that sort of stuff. If there's any other small beginner things you'd like to know as well, leave it in the comments. I will be happy to cover it. This is all for anybody who's new to Unreal Engine and they really don't know where to begin or what things are and how they work. I'd love to explain them to you in greater depths, but this is just, as I say, the top 11 variables that I think everyone should in theory know and potentially use within their video games. Thank you so much guys for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget
so much. I just I feel like when trying to learn something in Unreal, there's just like, you think you have a grasp on it and then it's just like so much more convoluted than you actually thought. Like, I get on a fundamental basis what these do. I get that. Like, the vector. This allows you to find out what something is. But it's like, it's when you drag it off, and then it gives you this massive list of like all these different things. Right. I had a book of things I was going to have a wee look at. Okay, variables was the first one. I was then going to have a look at the store. I'll look at the marketplace to kind of understand where things are. If you make a coin, you'll need to do a script for a coin to separate from red. Yeah. It's just nuts, man. Like, I feel like every time I boot up Unreal Engine, I'm just constantly overwhelmed. And it's like, I'm not kind of, I don't really know where to start, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know where to start, you know? Like, there's just so much. Have a look at, I just want to see the marketplace. Do I need to go into this to do that? Yeah, marketplace. Unreal Engine. So there's a lot of really interesting things we can find from the marketplace. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of paper ZD stuff or paper things in general in the marketplace. I think when you type in paper, some obviously kind of basic stuff comes up. Paper characters. What is this? Getting started with your... I think maybe that's what I need to do. I think I need to like get a course or something to learn Paper ZD, or just the kind of Paper 2D plugin in general, because it just seems like there's so much. There's genuinely just so much, and I'm just constantly like, I've not got a clue. I don't really know where to start at any point in time. I'm trying to think how I started. Like, what do I, in dreams, what do I do when I start a project? But the thing is, in dreams, when I start a project, I do all the art first. I get all that ready. All the characters are made, all the buildings are made, all the areas that you explore, they're all done. I'm so used to doing all the art first, and then it's like, right, here's my art in front of me. Now let's start going in and kind of doing different particular things with the characters in that. So obviously, like, Red is built, and to be honest, I can actually quite understand a lot of this now. Like, I kind of get, you know, what it's talking about and stuff. To a degree. I mean, there's a lot that I'm kind of struggling with, but I can understand some of it. And yeah, but the thing is, like, this is also the issue with that idea, Mofo, and it's that in Dreams, I made everything. I made the characters, I made the buildings, I made the landscapes and stuff like that. In order to do that now, I would need to go and learn a completely different engine. I would need to go learn Blender to be able to start making houses and shit. So it would just, I would take even longer to get stuff done. Like, I think that's it. I think maybe I'm just not used to the idea that this is going to take so much time. Like, this isn't something that I can bang out in a year like I could on Dreams. And it's mainly because I've got to learn everything. So it's like, do I stop learning Unreal? I mean, you can, but it's not very good to my knowledge. Shapes. Cube. No. it's see this is the thing about Unreal Engine. This is where all your logic happens, and this is where you start putting everything in. But this isn't where you sculpt. You sculpt in Blender, and then you move it into Unreal Engine. That's how that works. We're so used to, like, being able to do everything in Dreams. Where you just, you know, you do it in all at once. But that's not how Unreal works. Unreal is like Unreal's kind of the final destination of it all. It's really cool that you cast a shadow though. It's pretty awesome. Kind of, yeah. I mean, pretty much. I'm pretty sure you can do some basic sculpting in Unreal Engine. I mean, I say that. I bet you probably could sculpt stuff in Unreal Engine. Um, so this is kind of where you add stuff, I suppose. Camera shake, cinema camera, camera rig crane, level sequence actor. Yeah, so you can like this. But I don't think Unreal Engine's designed for sculpting. I'm pretty sure you're supposed to use other stuff. Now add a floor texture. Wish I knew how to do that, mate. Wish I knew. Surely there should be like a texture thing on the right side. Hang on. Oh, textures are here. But again, all this stuff is imported, I think. Oh, will that animate? No, that's a shame. Stupid wee fly. Yeah, I suppose we kind of are. You know, I do actually have some what should be basic so a while back I went and got Pentax to make some assets, just kind of basic ones. Maybe what I should really do is build a small scene, light it, get it all ready. I'm pretty sure I've already like thought of this and then I've unthought of it. You know that way where you've got a plan, but when you try to like go and like do it, suddenly you find yourself very overwhelmed. try to get some of these assets that I've already had made. Now they'll be static. But they might very well help me. Save image. I'll call that bush. Paper bush. Right. Close that down. Okay. Yeah, I think what I've got to do is right. Okay, so now we've got some oops, I didn't want that to be. Oh, that just straight up. Okay, didn't mean for that to happen, but right. How do you make this smaller? T U Q. How do you make just something smaller? There you go, we got one of the paper bushes in. We've made a game. We've made a game. We've got a boy in a bush. Two boys. Got a small boy in the back, wee boy in the front. Two boys in a bush. Right, let's try what you're saying. Although that's... I didn't mean to turn these into textures. I wonder if there's a way to... create sprite. There we go. It is more than what I started with, you're right. Oh, you're right, look at you. Look at you. You're learning just as much as I am. Although I can't grab it now. I've got to speed up my camera a wee bit. Paper tree sprite, there we go. One down. There we go, that feels like it's... Woohoo! I mean, it's a bit luminescent, but I think that's because we've turned it into a sprite and not a... Oh my god, is that dark because it's not got the sun on it? If we turn that round, is that going to hit the sun? So that's affected by shadows already? And that's just because we went and we grabbed a mesh. I wonder what's better, making them all meshes or just making them sprites? Probably sprites, right? Probably sprites. Try to remember how I went and... Hold on, actually, you know what? Let's add another mesh. I know this probably isn't the thing that we should be doing. Where's the second plane? Yes. So if we slap that onto that, that's now affected by the sun. I forgot you already know Unreal, but you just don't have a PC. You need to get a PC, mate. You need to get a PC right now. You need to help me. You need to help me forever and ever. You're now officially part of Hero Studios till you're dead. Or until we get closed down. That seems to be happening a lot. Huh, that kind of scared me. Right, it's a bit of a small tree, and I would like the top part and the bottom part to be disconnected. Not really sure how one would do that, but okay. Where's the grass? Oh no, wait, no. Okay, so instead of create sprite, edit mesh. How do you edit the mesh? Sprite actions, create sprite. There we go. Well, I don't know about you, but we're practically there in terms of making a paper game. That is kind of exciting though. It's good to know that unless it's animated, which I'm not sure how that would work, unfortunately, but all the static 2D sprites I could easily make into a game, a level. Pretty simply. Yeah, so they've got hitboxes. So if I were to click into that, I just forget, how do you get into it? Well, it's something more complicated than I thought. How do I get into its kind of settings? Like it's... Hey, Squish. Right, let's look at some textures again. Let's see if we've got any grass. It's very realistic grass, but... wonder why it's not working. Top box. Top box. This. Animation, modeling, foliage. Oh, so if I count this as foliage, add foliage, search assets, tree. Okay, hold on. Props. It's a sprite, so boom. That work? I want that to be foliage. Why are you not working? Were you saying yes to this? I know you can add shaders onto stuff. Maybe there's like a paper shader? Why is it all thingied out? Because I'm already in it. Okay. Plane. Let's get a new plane. None of my clicks are working now. I think my... Oh, because I'm in foliage mode because I can Mongo. So if I had the texture for the grass that I want, all we need to do is slap this down here. And then go to textures and boom, grass. Obviously I would have a a much better non-swampy looking grass, but you get what I mean. Maybe there was actually a better one in here somewhere. No toon grass? Toon grass? Toon grass, toon grass. It's not toon grass. But assuming I had toon grass, it's as simple as that. Okay. This is good mentally. I definitely feel like I needed to get to this spot. I think what I need to do is get a small pile of assets ready. Okay? I think what I need to do is get a small pile of assets, couple of trees, some grass, and maybe a building of sorts, some sort of building made up. Maybe I'll try Blender again. Really did suck though. I think I might reach out to Pock and see what plugin he used for Blender in order to make it more sculpting like Dreams was. But this is, yeah, I mean, yeah. The only thing is, how does one make it not so shiny? Do you know, Mofo, how I would make this less shiny? I know there's a way to like go into a setting where it's like on Blender and Stream, mate, always good to follow your journey and help motivate you. I appreciate that, mate. I think to be honest, in general, I think I do just need to start streaming my progress moving forward in all regards. Originally I was actually going to start because I've made like a simple outline of the story and stuff like that, and I was going to stream me just writing the story, but then I thought that's dumb. That's just going to spoil the entire game for everyone. So I'm not doing that. But I definitely think that I should sit down and start planning out and streaming different things and different processes. Because doing this makes me feel like it's doable, if that makes sense. I kind of want to leave this big desert place. Maybe we can, let's go, let's not save anything I've done, because let's be honest, I didn't really do anything. Is red still my go-to? Yes, that's perfect, that's awesome. Okay, so red's still my go-to. And props, so I can just bang out a tree. Although materials, yeah, material. Okay, yeah, this is what I was looking for. Okay, I'm just before we conclude this stream, I'm actually going to try something here. Real quick. Materials is exactly what I was looking for. So let's go to props. Let's texture that. R. Okay. Bring it up. Move it not too far back. Right. Now we want to go into materials. What happens if you put a bush material on it? Okay, that just basically destroys it. Right, so that's overwriting the tree. And again, it's not really that shiny anymore. I think maybe that was just the lighting. I mean, I think I was more having an existential crisis rather than doing anything productive, to be honest, mate. I feel like I was 2 seconds away from saying I give up. Yes, this is more. This is more the camera angle that I'm thinking. Although it would probably be. Although whenever I mess with the spring arm too much, a weird glitch effect happens. Let's see if it happens this time. So I want to up and back a bit. Let's see if that. Yeah. So now, whenever I turn, it zooms in on him. This is why I've not been messing about with the camera too much. Yeah, now it's fixed. But hey, this is good. So I think my process for right there, I've got this wee book of notes that I've been messing with. I think I'm actually going to write down some notes from this. On things that I need to do. I'm very much a visual worker. I need things in front of me to be able to create. I can't work off cubes. Props to people that can sit and go through Unreal Engine working with cubes. I can't do it. It numbs my mind and drains my creativity to a point where I'll just stop working on it. So I think what I need to do, and I actually did do this with Cethos already. Is plan. Me and Cethos sat down and talked about what I need to do and what the next steps are, and then I threw that out the window. So that was done. I need to create a small area. Small, visually appealing area. Visually appealing area. And then create from there. So we've got our character. So a can't do anything with red until Cthos is done with animations, and that could take however long, so there's no point starting with that. So we're going to need an NPC dialogue, which is technically what I was doing with that wee old version of Red. He was like a wee NPC dialogue, but I get frustrated because I felt like I was just doing the tutorial and not really learning anything. I need to learn how to start a quest, start and end a quest. I also really need to figure out how all these external animations are going to get done. Like how do I need to like build the tree separately, or can we get the tree made into how the tree needs to be and then implement it? Either way, I think that's next Friday's Unreal Engine video, is that hopefully I'm going to have some of that done. Create a small visually appealing area, have a character, have an NPC that can do dialogue, and start and end a quest. So that's next Friday's task. I actually did just download Crater, so maybe I'll sit and make like a what's it called? Mesh, a texture. I'll sit and make a grass texture on that. Red's voice outro? What do you mean? Mofo, do you know how to do Blender as well? Have you learnt Blender? I suppose I can talk to you about that off stream as well. So I'm going to head off. I need to do some stuff, get some other things ready, and I'll just send you a message and we can kind of talk about other stuff. But yeah, I watch hell of a lot. Alright, okay. Right, well, I'm going to go. I'm going to send you some messages about kind of future stuff, but thank you everyone for watching. I hope you had fun, and I will see you. Sunday is Village U Day, Wednesday is Red Talks Day, and Friday is Unreal Engine Day. So I'll see you for